The struggle is real. The battle continues. At the end of this all, we shall hear, "Well done, good and faithful servants. Enjoy the fruits of your sweat, of your labor." You can't insult my president. You can't humiliate my president. You can't take anything away from my president. The man is indispensable. He cannot be defeated. He cannot be overpowered. While you may try to rumor him, propagandize the rhetoric for the haters of the government, your jealousy, your sinister act, your nasty politicizing would never alter or change the text of history. No matter what you say or do, what you plan, and how your plan is executed, at the end of your nightmare, when you shall have awoken to a sunrise, from now until 2030, you would have had to endure, to suck up, and understand that the greatest, by definition, greatest, adjective, greatest, president in Guyana's history will be, until 2030. And whoever comes after 2030, they must walk in a bigger shoe than that of the greatest president that has ever sat in the seat of office in Guyana, President Mohammed Irfan Ali. You would have to endure that, be it from federal prison or from beyond the grave. Ali Irfan shall be president until 2030. No plot, no plan can ever challenge, sway, or frustrate a man of God anointed by the hand of God to lead a nation that deserves to have such a leader to influence that. Welcome to Uncensored Guyana. I'm Dr. L. Prasad. And I'm a real doctor, a scholar, a genius, an academic. Many of you would never intellectually, academically achieve 10% of my accolades. Not you, not your children, not your future generations to come. Many of you. So instead of trying to threaten and think you can socially pressure me to scare me off from holding my ground for my president, instead of doing that, ask the question, how can I be better than Dr. Prasad? How can I outshine this individual? Challenge me on that. Be better, smarter. But there's nothing else you can do to take me off course. Absolutely nothing. Your threats wouldn't work. If they had worked, I'm still here. They will never work. Every organization has its Judases. Every organization. Being the president is a powerful, powerful position. It is second only to that of Jesus Christ. Muhammad, the Prophet, Krishna, Lord Vishnu, the Buddha. So everybody wants to experience that amount of power. A woman would betray her husband if it means she has a chance to sit in that seat. The Venezuelan president, the woman, betrayed Maduro to taste absolute power. It happens all the time. JF Kennedy. All the time it happens. Unfortunately, you think a party that has been founded on the merit of good, loyalty, peace, prosperity, the working class, a noble party that started from a godlike man, the father of the nation. You would think that everybody who embraces that ideology would somehow walk every day with that similar sentiment. I shall stand with my brother. I shall never betray my brother, regardless. But there's always the wolf in sheep's clothing. There is always the invisible enemy. There is always the wife who hates the husband but serves him food. And he is never suspicious that she can put things in his dish to kill him slowly. In the PPP, the People's Progressive Party, unfortunately, there are elements who don't belong there. But they saw an opportunity. They embrace an ideology. But their ulterior motive was not to follow the crowd of the PPP, but to see how best the PPP can serve their personal interest. One of those people was a family, is a family. Now, because the PPP did not compromise the law and compromise common sense to help this family continue their legacy of bad business, of selfishness, of trying to amass only for themselves at the expense of Guyanese, that family has since distanced themselves and now has become the competitor, so to speak. And the competition that they are playing is not any clean politics. It's not competition that you have a referee and you have a set of rules that you have to follow. No. They have brought along with them the same principles that they have made a part of their dealings throughout their existence, which is the law of the jungle. Eat before you're eaten. So what we see play out on social media, on the internet, under the guise investigating corruption, from the chief corrupter himself. It is just an extension to what I've said before. They were always, that family were always the invisible enemy of the PPP. Started with the father. Then the son came and learned how to hate, and he applied the same discipline of his father. If you can't get your way, hate. Now we see playing out before our very eyes. This family has now shown Guyana that they have always been the invisible enemy to the PPP. Are we going to judge them for that? No, it is expected. What we have to judge, who, for what, is this. How then can we seek to explain the rationale behind what is being played out, not yesterday, not the day before, not the past week or the past 2 weeks, from before the elections? All the opportunities that were presented before the government, and how you can stop this monster from becoming Hulk, presented on a silver platter to the government. Stop it before it matures and turn back and bite you. For all the geniuses within the government then, prior election, pre-election, who would have had experiences throughout their careers of knowing how things can turn back for their detriment, why didn't they learn from their mistakes in the past? You want to take down a king, you have to take down the prince, because the prince can take the throne and come after you. Why leave it? Why take it for granted? Unless it will serve your interest, even as a PPP stalwart. And what might be your interest? If you have some personal vendetta against your colleagues in the PPP, and whatever threat is coming is not against you, but against your colleagues, and you see an opportunity here, if I allow this threat to grow, to mature, and to bear fruit, it helps my chances of getting my ambition realized. While at the same time, I would say, hey, trust the law. Trust the judicial process. You don't want the world to think that you are persecuting your opponents. Let the judicial system play along. And while the judicial system plays along, as we know, could take years, the threat is growing. The enemy is getting bigger. The enemy is amassing larger crowds. But all they say, wait, it's going to go away. Wait, it's going to go away. But it never does. It becomes more detrimental, more detrimental. Who benefits? Let me rule out a few people. The two main players. Barajaglio has been president twice, and vice president now the second time. He has spent 8 tenureship in the office of the president. What does he has to gain from destroying Irfan Ali's government legacy? Nothing. It is to his detriment, the vice president. If anything happens to mess up the regime of Irfan Ali, because he is a part of that regime, he is the acting president, so to speak. And he cannot get a third term. And Ali being president doesn't interfere with his functions as vice president. So it is not to the vice president's benefit to be the invisible enemy to Irfan Ali's government. It's not. He has more to lose. So he has to continue to protect the sanctity of Irfan Ali's government. Irfan Ali himself would not be an idiot to dig his own grave. There is a reason why he has advisors, and his ministers are his advisors. He trusts their opinions. He trusts their advice. He believes in the people that he has around him. And when they screw up, he has to do damage control and clean shit up. That leaves one person. And that is the Attorney General, Anil Nandalal. I want you to respond to my claims. You are the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice. You are the head of the judiciary. You are the boss of all the judges, all the lawyers. You have enormous power as Attorney General. But the president can fire you. He can replace you. You're not the prime minister. You can be fired. You can be replaced. You don't have absolute power. You're still under Irfan Ali. Word on the street is, and it has been the case pre-election, since before 2020, that you had your eyes on the presidency since 2020. Irfan took it. Word on the street is that you had an agenda to help to make sure that Irfan Ali is not successful. Therein, maybe he would not have had the opportunity to have a second term. He would have stepped back and say, hey, I'm not going to run again. Which, if it had happened, the only other person who would have been as ambitious to take that post would be you. So throughout 2020, word on the street is, 2020, 2025, all the important stuff that came out that allegedly leaked stuff about Ali, about Jaglio, word on the street is, it came from you, your sources, your people. Word on the street is, it was your intention to keep the Mohammeds where they are. You had the power to use your political might to make sure that no bail was granted. He was kept in prison. You had the power to make sure that GCOM did not grant permission for the Mohammeds to contest the elections. You and only you had the power to make that decision, Attorney General. But you didn't. You are the attorney for the country, the government. You didn't advise against it. You didn't pressure the system against it. You watched it all happen. You watched the whole corruption with GCOM. You did not intervene. You watched the whole extradition request. You did not intervene. You watched the whole thing with the cases of the court, Judge Judy prolonging and so on. All you did your talking points. And you did what you said you did on your podcast, on your program. And based on that, it was nothing. You did nothing, but watched it all play out to the detriment of your government, of your president. The question is why? Why would you, Attorney General, be so accommodating to a man that you could easily lock up, easily get rid of? Why would you allow him to prosper in his political ambitions? Yes, you understand that he would not gather so many votes to win a presidency, but why allow him to rise to that position as opposition leader when you could have stopped it from the beginning? But you didn't. So many crimes the Mohammeds has committed since post-elections. Crimes that your judicial system, Attorney General, have punished people, the average Guyanese, for less. And they all could have accessed lawyers, but yet they were in prison. Yet they had a lot of rights taken away from them. And the Mohammeds have committed similar crimes and worse, and didn't spend one day in prison. No conviction to their name. You also could have advised the Speaker of the House against convening a session to swear in this criminal, because the laws are there to stop these things. That is your job, Attorney General, to advise the government. But yet your advice seemed to be in favor of Azharuddin Mohammed. Judge Judy is beneath you. It is you that pays Judge Judy. You are the head. If you want to get rid of Judge Judy, you can get rid of Judge Judy. You are a senior, seasoned, expert legal mind. You are a crafty, genius politician. You know exactly how, where you can get rid of people who are stumbling blocks to the system. But you allowed the Mohammed's flame to get bigger. Only coming out with talking points. When the Mohammeds start going after ministers, violating their airspace, trespassing, putting their properties and their lives online without their permission, you did nothing. Not even an arrest. Not even pressuring the ERC. Nothing. You allow this man to become untouchable, above the law. And it is your position to protect the government from parasites like Azharuddin Mohammed, but you did nothing. My concern, not question, is why? You have all of these tools in your hand to have put a stop to the Mohammeds early on, but you did nothing. Now this attack that is going after Mustafa, the Minister of Agriculture, this head-on aggressive attack that's going after Mustafa, tied to the president. You are doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. My concern is why not? This is your government that has been attacked. Your government secrets that are being violated. But yet, you do nothing. And you have the power in your hands. This is why you are Attorney General. Not Minister of Home Affairs, Attorney General. To advise the entire government on legal strategies they can use and employ to deal with sinister characters like Ajudin Mohammed. But you do nothing. Why? What's in it for you? My concern is, are you in fact working in conjunction with Ajudin Mohammed? Is he the weapon that you're using to get what you think you are due? And that's the presidency? Are you allowing this to happen? Watching it happen, hoping that Ali would crumble and Mustafa would not have a chance so that you can usurp that position, and then you will have all the players on your side because you have been protecting all the players? You didn't go after all of the people from the PNC who did a lot of wrongdoings to Guyanese people. You did nothing you did nothing about all the corrupt people of the PNC. You watched as the whole fraud case with GCOM prolonged, now 6 years. You do nothing. You are not going after the enemies of the state. Why? Are they on your side? Is there a faction in the PPP that is working with you to remove any chance Mustafa may have to be the next president and to discredit President Irfan Ali to the extent that anybody he stands with is discredited? The only person who have the means, the interest, that if they turn a blind eye, it benefits them, is you, Attorney General Anand Nandalal. It's you. That is my opinion. I listened to the word in the street. I draw my own opinion. I want you to respond. Tell me in the whole entire constitution and the laws of Guyana where all of the indicated crimes of the Mohammeds, politically, socially, all of that is permissible against the person of the president. This is not today's story. We had the case with Junior Bashk, who confessed the plot from the Mohammeds against the president, who made all those claims against the mother of the president. You, Attorney General, did nothing. There are many cases where people have confessed. They have talked about so many things that tied the Mohammeds to all of these dangerous situations that you can use. But you are doing nothing. For less than that, look in the developed countries. Guyana is the fastest growing economy right now. Look at the slow growing economies, the economies that are slow. If as much as they get a leak message that a vice president or a minister, anybody, say anything by their statement, they don't have to do anything, make a statement that is anti-government or insightful of anything, they are removed from office. They have to resign. They got to step aside, regardless of who they are. And you have an opposition leader that you allowed to become opposition leader that is he's trampling on all the rights that is due to the president. And all you can do is to advise the president to do nothing. Who was the dunderhead? Who was the dunderhead that advised President Irfan Ali to come on camera and try to justify the private farm? Who was the asshole that did that? Because the president of himself would not be that dumb to come on camera to break anything down to an imbecile like Muhammad. He had to have been advised to do that to calm the situation, to gain public trust. Fuck the public's trust. What is there to trust? Did the man break a bank? Was he housing underage girls? What, he had a cult on the farm? What public's trust? There is a commission that is established by the government. It's not a today's thing. That every person who has taken up public office must declare their assets before and when they come out of office. Every politician did that. President, vice, everybody did that post-elections. If they had any questions about what they think allegedly the president owns, they had to be referred to that commission. Go to that department and ask the questions. Because those information should be public knowledge, should be accessible to the public. Go and find out there. But you, Attorney General, you have allowed Ajuddin Mohammed to violate Priya Manikchan, Sudan Rodriguez, Bishop Edgell, and all of these other ministers, public servants, who should have had the law on their side to protect them. You did not protect them, Attorney General. You allowed the Mohammeds to abuse what? The undercover associations they have with you, knowing that you wouldn't send the law after them. And look how far they have come to try to take down the constitutionally elected president. It is your job, Attorney General, to protect the office of the president, to legally protect the office of the president. You have people who are threatening the life of the president online. What happened to them? Are they arrested? The law has no boundaries. The long arms of the law is extended beyond the borders of Guyana. This is why when criminals commit murder in Guyana and they run to Suriname, the law catches them here too. So this is not unique to where you are. You could be wherever, and if you threaten the life of the president, you should be pursued. But Attorney General, these people are not being pursued. Why? Why aren't you protecting the office of the president, the person, the president, as you should as Minister of Legal Affairs? You should have been the one to advise the Home Affairs Minister how to go after trespassing, that the Mohammeds have trespassed, not the Irfan case, but before that. Advise, hey, this man has committed a crime. But you did nothing. So the word on the street, anyone in their common sense would be forced to draw that conclusion. Maybe you are behind it. Maybe you, Attorney General, is behind what the Mohammeds are doing against the president. against Mustafa. Anybody who seemed to be a threat to your chances of being president, you are using the Mohammeds to go after these people. That is what is alleged. I want you to address it because I like you. I believe you are in some way sincere. But if you are silent, you are not doing anything. We don't want Facebook messages. We don't want no press whatever nonsense they usually send out or videos. We want actions, real actions. This man has to be stopped. This is going on for too long. Azruddin Mohammed has to be stopped. You talk about cyber crimes. Talk about cyber crimes. Look how many he has committed. And his associates against the president. If the president is not protected, if the president don't have immunity of privacy, then what happened to the rest of us? You mean all the people who are threatening me online, I have to go after them myself? I have to hire specialists and spies to go after them, find them, and deal with them? Because I don't have the law on my side? I can't depend on the judicial system because why? I'm speaking for Irfan Ali. So therefore, I might be an enemy to those in the PPP that is against Irfan Ali. No wonder I can't have support. Now I get it. Now I get it. No wonder you have people who are against the government, against the plan of the government, publicly, but yet they're having support from the government. No wonder. Because the government seemed to be divided. Questions are being pointed at you, Attorney General. The laws are there for a reason. You are the genius. You allow this shit show to go to the CCJ. We are waiting now how many months? Was it in April? 26th of April. 26th of May, 26th of June, 2 months. We're now in July. Nothing from the CCJ. This man has now concrete his position in Guyana. He is untouchable. Of recent, he now has the audacity, whatever support he's getting, allegedly from you, Attorney General, to make a video calling for President Irfan Ali to resign. People can say whatever they want, but this is an opposition leader that was allowed to become opposition leader by some stupid black people, and you, the Attorney General, has now assumed this position. He is now invincible. Almighty Azruddin to say, I am calling for the resignation of the president. Imagine this criminal. Because the law favored the man. The law turned a blind eye to the crimes of Azruddin Mohammed. The law ignored the fact that the Mohammed's family, from the get-go, had intentions of blackmailing the president and the vice president. If they had anything else on Irfan Ali, anything immoral, like some sexual orgy, pedophilic sex, drug using, homosexuality. If the Mohammeds had anything as sinister as what I've mentioned before, they wouldn't bother with some stupid drone shot with some farm somewhere. That is a cheap shot. They would go for the hard stuff. They would have leaked that a long time. But because they don't have anything to pin against the president or the vice president that is so nasty that the public will have no choice but to say, hey, we don't want these people anymore. They have nothing because Vice President Jagdeo and the President Irfan Ali is two of the most cleanest politicians ever walked Guyana. Cleanest politicians. The PNC can't say the same. There's too much dirt on the PNC. Nasty stuff. Too much. They could not have been in that position and kept silent if Muhammad had existed in Granger's time and attempt to do what he's doing to Ali, to Granger. The PNC would have taken him out a long time. He would have become a memory because of the nasty things he has on the PNC. But he has nothing on Irfan Ali, nothing on Jagdeo, nothing on Mustafa, maybe on you, Attorney General. So he has to fabricate, make stuff up, push fake news, push propaganda. You think because the president prematurely responded to say, am I not allowed to invest in agriculture, therein owning up to being a part of that project? You think that gives credibility to Azzuddin Mohammed? That he knows what he's saying? He's revealing stuff, he's leaking stuff. Everybody knows about that farm. But nobody had the time or the reason to go spy on the farm. People are busy building, working, providing for their families, and trying to be a part of the Guyanese dream. Mohammed has all the time in the world because he has already achieved the Guyanese dream. So he has nothing else to do with his time, he and his sister, than to go around the country spying on people they are told to spy on. It's not a random thing. Who is giving them instructions? Who promised the Mohammeds immunity? Who promised Azzuddin that he's not going to face jail time in Guyana? The only person who has that authority to do that is the Attorney General. If the Attorney General is using Azzuddin Mohammed to do these things, telling him that, hey, don't worry, nobody will lock you up, nobody will send you to prison, I'm in charge. And if I have a chance to become president, I'm going to negotiate with the Americans to dismiss all the charges against you. Was that the deal that was made? Attorney General, was that the deal that was made? That you strategically helped the Mohammed to gain the position they gained as opposition leader, then you have influenced the courts to go in the direction it went in favor of the Mohammeds, that you have influenced the CCJ to go in the direction they're going in favor of the Mohammeds, because the Mohammeds being around in Guyana is good for you, but bad for President Ali, bad for Mustafa, bad for Jagdeo, but good for you. Is that the deal that was reached? To tell Azzuddin, target this one, here's some information, go after this one, this is what you do, this is how you do it, these are the files, and nobody can touch you. I would call the Home Affairs Minister, tell the people, don't touch this man. Tell the courts, hey, dismiss this case. You don't have to pay the taxes to the GRA. The only person with that authority is the Attorney General. The president can't do that. He's not the Minister of Legal Affairs, and he can't order Attorney General. Oh no, you think he can? No, he can't. Mm-mm. He can't fire or order the Attorney General. You must understand something here. The Attorney General, it is my opinion, that sees himself as superior to Irfan Ali. Therefore, in private dining, he don't call Irfan president. What the fuck I'm calling you president? You're beneath me. Don't get carried away that people voted for you or this is Jagdia's fault. But don't ever think that you and I are the same level in private. But in public, conveniently, Mr. President, I don't believe that the Attorney General has any respect for President Irfan Ali. And that has nothing to do with Irfan's capacity. That has to do with the fact that the Attorney General, in my opinion, believes that he should be there and not Ali. That Ali should have just remained as minister to whatever ministry and just recycle him, but not president. It is my belief. You see, I draw all of that conclusion because I can't understand how the Attorney General has allowed all of this shit to happen and not one penalty the Mohammeds face, not one. And let an ordinary citizen, a scrape, had decided to fly a drone over the compound allegedly belonging to the president. Let somebody else have done it. They would have been shot on sight. They would have been shot on sight. Or if they weren't shot, they would have been arrested, and the narrative would have been spun to the extent that the public would say, yes, the police had a right to arrest the person because what are you doing trespassing on private property? Flying drones over people's house. You couldn't do that. You can't do that. That's the reaction you would have gotten from the public. Because it happened before. And people were dealt with for flying drones over other people's properties, for publishing materials about other people. They were dealt with, but not Muhammad. Why? Who in the PPP is protecting him? I reiterate, the only person with the capacity to protect the Muhammad from the PPP is the Attorney General. Not the Home Affairs Minister. That's a wasteland. The power is the Attorney General. And because of the rift that exists in the government, in the cabinet, a lot of people who didn't want to be recycled, who wanted to hold on to their position, even though they were a bunch of lowlifes, unproductive, they wanted to maintain their position. But the president is like, no, man, you're making me look bad. Guyanese deserves better. And I think if the president had his way, if it was up to him, he would have also recycled the Attorney General, because those were the information that were coming my way post-elections, that the Attorney General would be recycled. The fact that he has not been, it meant that it is beyond the pay grade of the president to move him. But all the others who were moved shifted to the camp Nandalal. And they're also helping with pushing propaganda and nastiness about the president and those who they think, like Mustafa, might secure the presidency. There's an upcoming election. if the PPP loses a lot of districts, that can ruin the chances for Mustafa to be elected party leader at the next Congress. Therefore, the man who can do his politicking to get party loyalists to side with him to gain that vote is Nandalal. There is nobody else in the party that is as ambitious as Anand Nandalal. There is a Facebook page. There is a Facebook page dedicated to Anand Nandalal for president, a Facebook page. And that page existed before 2025. Since in the first term of Ali, that page existed, focusing only on promoting Anand Nandalal to the point where the public start to rally around the idea that he would be the next president. I don't see a page for Mustafa. I don't see a page for Ali's third term or Jagmeer. Nobody else in the PPP. Only a page for Nandalal as president, even while Irfan was president. You would think the ambition of Anand Nandalal to be president would come after the Congress, if he's selected or elected at Congress. But you wouldn't think they would they'll be pushing him as president while they had a president. Oh, the page still there. Type in Facebook, Anand Nandalal for president, you'll see it. So all of these street talk makes a lot of sense. Why would the Attorney General sit back and relax and see all this persecution against the president, against his colleagues? Colleagues. And he does nothing. He has to advise them as to how to deal with this. And I would not be so stupid to assume that he's advising them to stand down. But why leave them to rot? Mohammed has the resources. He has the resources. You have seen continuously how he used his money to push propaganda and narratives in his favor. Caribbean pundits in Caribbean countries, the main Caribbean countries where you have large populations of Guyanese, Jamaica, Trinidad, Barbados, St. Martin, pundits from those countries are podcasting in favor of Azriddin Mohammed. Can you believe that? That is how far his money is reaching. I would know because before elections, I keep saying this, they reached out to me before elections. I turned them down. I'm not a nigger. But all them other niggas, they reach to them and they can pay them $100 per episode and they'll do it. All the newscast. Look at News Source, Gordon Mosley. When the ambassador of America gave that press information as to why Mohammed was not invited, there were a lot of newscasts that covered that. Travis Chase didn't cover it. Gordon Mosley didn't cover it. Why? Because it would shed a negative light on the Mohammeds. So they were allegedly paid to stand down. But the Mohammeds pushing this fake video about some ranch, Gordon Mosley covered that. All them niggas covered that because it shows a negative light on the government. You would think that these black news outlets would be there to serve the PNC. I would understand because they're racist. I would understand. You want to use your platform to push black people? Okay. But you're not pushing black people. You're pushing rhetoric from this Indo-Guyanese corrupt man against a government which is against the PNC. So which side are you on? You're on the side for a paycheck. Now, all of these areas that the Mohammeds have penetrated because they have the means, the money to do it. And Attorney General, you are not employing your skills, your lawyers, your team, all the fat salaries they're getting. You can't send them after these people that continues to violate the safety, the security, and the sanctity of the president. The president has to be like a little boy to come out and explain some shit like a farm to some fucking losers. I said yesterday, it is to the president's political detriment to respond to every pussy thing that comes from that shithole mouth Azrini Mohammed walks around with. The president has a Ministry of Information. Kwame McCoy, you decide to respond today. They have so many developing stories came out against your president, and today you decide to respond? Today. Or is it because of what that asshole Farouk Juman, that nobody watches him? Who the fuck is Farouk? You know Farouk Juman. Farouk Juman, you should stick to playing those old classical Indian songs. Stick to that shit. Don't get in politics. Don't offer your voice in politics. You are an asshole. Or you want me to tell the people that you reached out to me too? Farouk Juman. I always liked you because I liked your voice. You're a smart man. But the fact that you can join the team win is disappointing. You of all persons, Farouk, should understand what is at stake. Because you ran from Guyana because of black pressure. Boredom chased you away. And now you forgot all of that, and for a few dollars more, what is it, sponsorship? I mean, I know you pay for your airtime. Is that it? The Mohammeds have now replaced Ed Hammond. You seem to like calling his name. You're trying to turn against the PPP? For who? To whose benefit? You think Guyanese will listen to you? You think Barbadians would listen to you, Farouk? I have more credibility in Barbados than you could ever have. You are an asshole, Farouk. So if I had no problem, if I dismissed you, why the fuck you want Kwame McCoy to accommodate you? For what? You go to a minister's office as a fucking courtesy call. You think those guys have time to waste? You think the government has time to waste? Don't you see what's happening in Guyana? Everybody is busy building, strategizing, drafting blueprints, meetings about development, how to keep the country on the path of progress. Everybody is busy. Everybody is working. They don't have time for leisure nonsense like you and fucking Azrini. Farouk Juman. You are an idiot. Stick to playing music and commenting on the songs of Hamita Bachchan and Sunil Dutt and Damendra and stick to that. You're a hypocrite. And I hope the PPP don't make the mistake they keep making and thinking that and taking people like you for granted. Because you can't use the government, because you can't get the government to corrupt the system in your favor. You have an axe to grind. Ali is the enemy. Jagnew is the enemy. Kwame McCoy is supposed to see you. Who the fuck are you? Who are you? Farouk? You are nothing. You're a piece of shit. This is why I didn't bother with you. Because you are a piece of shit. You people think you can set me up against my president or my government? Yes, Farouk Juman, you reached out to me. I don't see what the fuck, join with what? Intellectually, I'm above you. Intellectually, Farouk, I'm above you. What the fuck am I going to join with you for? For what? Like I said, if you have axe to grind and you're trying to take your bribery, whatever bribery you can take, and try to spin it as if it's personal, that you have a personal thing against Ali or personal thing against the government, we all know that you're paid. We all know that. And just you. You're just a dumb Indian that another stupid Indian get to. But we know all them black people are paid. You can buy a nigger faster than anything else. That's the easiest thing for you to do, is to corrupt a nigger. That's the easiest thing for you to do. But shame on people like you, Farouk. You should know better. Or you want them days of boredom to come back. You think PNC would have given you a fucking radio station? That's what you think? You can't even have your own radio station in America. Nobody listens to you in America. You think Guyanese will listen to you? If Guyanese want to hear some nice Indian music, they go on TikTok or YouTube. They won't listen to you. This is why the government, in their wisdom, disassociate themselves with people like you, with the likes of you, Farouk, with the likes of you. And my people help you. My people help you, Farouk. Don't let me get into details. My people sponsor you, help you. So you better shut the fuck up before I bring the receipts. Don't let me have to show the receipts. Shut the fuck up. I would have had a problem if you said Kwame met you. If you had said Kwame met you and talk whatever bullshit, and then you recorded the man and then shipped it off to Muhammad, that I would have a problem with. Then I would call Kwame out for that nonsense. But the fact that Kwame respectfully ignored your stupid ass, now I have to speak some nice things about Kwame McCoy. Kwame McCoy, the nice things I wanted to speak about with you is you are the Minister of Information. You deal with all information that has to come from the government, including the president, must come from you. Where is the press secretary for Ali? Does Irfan Ali has a press secretary? No. He does his own secretarial duties. Ali is his own press secretary. How the fuck is that possible? What's wrong with you guys, man? Are you that greedy you can't pay somebody to be the press secretary? I don't want to have a newsroom. Fuck his newsroom. Kwame McCoy, why isn't the president, the office of the president, has an official press secretary. That all these stupid stuff, the president has to belittle himself, condescend to address this asshole like Muhammad. What's your job, Kwame? It is your job to convey information on behalf of the government. The president is the government. I don't want you to come out on your own fucking platform and say some shit. It has to be official. Official. What's wrong with you fellas, man? This is the cowboy country. Every time the president himself got to come and talk some shit somewhere, that is not his job. That's why he has you, Kwame. That's why he has an entire department. Niaz Suban, fuck, man. I have no issues with you, Niaz. Brother, I have no issues with you. But Niaz Suban, you are the director for the National Communications Network. It says national, the nation's communication network. Communicate. If Kwame can't organize a presidential secretariat to get information out from the president, all the questions go via the secretary. The president communicate to the public via the secretary. If Kwame can't do that shit, you do it. Niaz Suban, you make yourself the press secretary. And you communicate whatever stupid stuff the Mohammeds have, you communicate, say, hey, President, you want to address this shit? He will say, okay, you just deal with it. But there's nobody. Every time, the man going to CARICOM heads of government meeting, he gotta talk about some fucking farm back in Guyana. What kind of bullshit is this? The press secretary should always be there with the president everywhere he goes. Nobody should be directly asking the president stupid questions. Any official address must come from the press secretary's office. Listen to Banana Republic. I take that shit back. Guyana is a developed country run by smart people, common sense people. But in this day and age, you got Irfan Ali having these low-life so-called journalists with no fucking degrees or no certificate. They just take a phone and a fucking camera and say they're like, oh, Mr. President, what reaction? Nonsense. No credential whatsoever, but they're going and approaching the man and asking him questions. Nobody's searching them. Nobody's frisking them. But they have this access to the president. And most are niggas. Tell me since when the president should trust black people. When everything the man says, they're spinning it to favor whoever's paying their check. But yet they have access to the president. This is bullshit. Minister Kwame McCoy, I don't want to hear from you after the fact. You must be proactive. From the time this shit come out, you should have shut it down. You should have shut it down. Get in your legal team. Call the Attorney General. Hey, how can we approach this? But nothing. It's allowed to mature. Every pundit that receives a salary from the Mohammeds, and there are a lot, is pushing this. Everybody wants to make content now on this. The president has become public enemy number one. He is now the target. The Mohammeds throws it out there, and their rice eaters ran and they picked on it. The yard foul. And this is supposed to be acceptable. It's a disgrace. And it has to be stopped. Mr. President, you should have nothing more to say on this matter. Don't feed into this nonsense. Ignore it. and it will go away. If you have a press office, let them do the talking. You have a country to run, a people to save, developments to continue. You don't have time for this nonsense. And please, Mr. President, don't take anybody, no fucking cameras on your farm. It's your farm. It in the country's farm. It's your farm. You took the loans, you got indebted. You have to pay it back, not Guyanese. Because when you take people there because you want to be transparent, then what happens after that? You're going to start attracting visitors now. People will suddenly have an interest in the area. Oh, we're going to go sightseeing. TikTok is going to take it over. Everybody now with the cameras, phone cameras. Oh, look at the pen. Oh, I can see a black belly sheep there. You got to shut it down. No one should have access. No one. Mr. Attorney General, I need you to address my suspicions, my claims. I'm not accusing you. I need you to address it. And secondly, Mr. Attorney General, if you don't have laws on the books, now is a good time. Instead of discussing pensions for the president, now is a good time to discuss security for the president. Pass laws to stop this nonsense that the Mohammeds are on from ever happening again. Because if the universe would have it, and you might someday, maybe after Mustafa, become president, you wouldn't want this nonsense to happen to you. So you should learn from this. If you haven't yet learned, learn from this and make sure that you recommend laws. You have the majority of the parliament. Call the parliament sitting to enact emergency laws to protect the privacy, the security, and the safety of the president. Get the laws passed now. This should not have been allowed to happen in no country. In no country. Why Guyana? Because it's a democracy. Every other country is a democracy. But this shit don't happen there. Because of the billionaire. Every country has billionaires. They don't do that nonsense. Protect the president. Charge the Mohammeds with violating privacy, with trespassing. The laws are on the books. Use it. Or people might keep saying that you, Attorney General, is behind it. You don't want them to say that. So you need to come out and let people understand this is illegal, and you are advising the president as to how to go after this. This should be criminal. This is a lawsuit. This should be criminal. And to deal with the Mohammeds accordingly. This man is not above the law. You are making him appear above the law. Every day is some fucking violation. Every day is some violation. Linking the president to this and to that and to this without any evidence, and he's allowed to do it. That's not politics, that's personal. That is personal. I don't care how much donations they made to the PPP. They didn't make donations to Irfan Ali, they made to an organization. That doesn't give him the right to disrespect the office of the president or demand the president. Because you made donations, it means you can point your finger in my face. No, fuck that, no. It's the same like because you bribe police officers, you can slap them around. No. It matters not how much you bribe a police officer if you put your hand on their uniform. You can go to jail for that. Then let him go to jail for that. He put his hand on the president. He should be locked up for that. What's wrong with you? To the Guyanese who care, I want you to stop being gullible and stop thinking that this is personal against you. This ain't your money. Don't let these people play on your emotions and make you think that you are being shortchanged and the president or the ministers are living large. Don't let them manipulate your feelings like that. The president is not responsible for your demise. Don't blame the past. We have the present now. The present now is that you can still go to a bank and get a loan. You can still own your own home. Thanks to the same man that you are helping to persecute, thanks to him, you can go to a bank and get a loan to build a house, buy a house for as much as $20 million without security. You can buy a car. You can travel the globe. You have free health care. You have all of these provisions that was made possible by the same man that you are helping to prosecute. The PNC did nothing for you. Afro-Guyanese, remember this. The black people that you are saying are your brothers and your sisters. You are cussing me and calling me an Uncle Tom, telling me I hate the color of my skin and all that kind of shit because I don't side with the PNC, because I didn't join the APNU. The fact is the fact. What did the APNU and PNC did for you black people? Nothing. They took from you. Are you seriously so blinded by racism that you rather suffer and die and hunger and thirst after a black government just because your racial sentiments cannot accept a reality that somebody else that doesn't look like you can make your future better? From 2020 to now, the person that doesn't look like you has been making your future better because you are in the future from 2020. You're now 2026. Look at your life. A lot of you never owned a car. You own a car now. A lot of you never dreamt of being an entrepreneur, self-employed. You are self-employed now. A lot of you never dreamt that you could leave the country. You have traveled. You have bank accounts. You have a deed to a home. That is what your future brought you under Irfan Ali. You want to fuck that up? You want to destroy that? For who? Muhammad is a billionaire, you stupid asses. He's a billionaire. There's nobody else in Guyana that has the amount of money like him. And you want to sacrifice your chances of having a good life that you have now. You want to ruin that because you're sympathetic to a billionaire that never knew you existed and never gives a shit about you. Only today, because he's illegally spying on people, trespassing, and he's trying to keep himself out of prison, possibly being helped by members of the PPP. You're siding with him. Don't forget, he's also Indian. He's also Indian. And he's more racist than the president you are accused of being racist. Pick your fight. Choose your enemy. Because President Irfan Ali is your friend. The PPP is your family. Be smart. I want you to share this live. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on TikTok. YouTube here. Click the subscribe button. I am one of the voices that will tell you what you don't want to hear, but what is beneficial for you. And before I close today, I want to make a special appeal to the most influential man out of Guyana on social media. That is Mikael Rodriguez, the Guyanese critic. The Guyanese critic, I, Dr. Prasad, I'm asking you not to remain silent. Whatever the issues are behind closed doors, whatever happened, I don't know, I don't want to know. But this is bigger than your sentiments. This is bigger than your personal issues with whoever in the PPP. This is bigger than that. You have a country to save. You have a government to save. You have a democracy to save. And you have a responsibility, Guyanese critic, to stop promoting your business and promote your government. Fight for your government. Defend your government. I am asking you to return to your shows or whatever way you can and fight for Guyanese and Guyana, and the universe is going to reward you. This is bigger than politicians. This is bigger than Irfan Ali. You cannot stay silent and see what the Mohammeds are doing that you made famous. You made them famous. So I'm asking you, Guyanese critic, to return and help your country. Until next time, goodbye.